race strategies as they're coming into that bucket ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it gives you comfort, Emma, knowing that no matter what, you're through to the semi-final if you go into the bucket and there's only 6 people in it and 6 go through. So we'll see now what kind of race strategy they take. But they're off now to a flying start. And look at lane 2, Daniel Fejes from Hungary. He had a great 500 meters earlier. He progressed through to the A final earlier in the C1 men 500 meters, and he also won the B final last weekend in Szeged. So he had a very strong second half in the 1,000 meters last week. So it'll be interesting here now to see if he holds back and comes through at the finish again. But also from Canada, in lane 6, Connor Fitzpatrick looks to be off to a very strong start, and he's actually leading the pack out as he goes into the first stages of this race. So it's going to be interesting here, like you said, Emma. Will everyone race to their full ability, or will they save energy knowing that the top 6 go through?
Yeah, absolutely. Fitzpatrick looks like he's done a really good start and is already a boat length up on the rest of the field. They're just chasing the tail of his boat down. Interesting whether he, like you say, can keep that going. He came sixth in the B final last week in Szeged, so it'd be interesting to see whether the back end of his race is as strong as that starting 200 meters or so, which has looked very impressive. Fejes over in lane 2, also looking strong and definitely in contention with those leading boats. And it's Cordova, the Cuban, in lane 4 that is just pulling back now on the Canadian, as we probably would expect. He looks like he's recovered from that brutal 5K that we witnessed last weekend in Szeged, and he is up and running really well. In lane 6, that's Connor Fitzpatrick from Canada, looking like he is still moving the boat, but potentially starting to feel the impact of that faster start.
Yes, the Cuban from in lane 4, Cordova, he was very good last week also. He came third in the B final in Szeged. So I'm sure they're all kind of within their comfort zone at the moment. As you can see, they went through the 500 meters in 1:57. The fastest we saw so far today go through was 1:50. That was Fuchsa earlier. But as we know, there's only 6 people in this heat, so none of them are under pressure as such to qualify through to the semi-final. However, I'm sure they'll be trying to practice a race strategy, see how they go down this 1,000 meters, if there's anything they need to improve on or anything they need to change. As we can see now, Daniel Fejes from lane 2, Hungary, is beginning to come back a little bit stronger. And he seems to always have a good second part of the race, which is showing here now also. As the camera pans out, we might be able to see a little bit better. But it looks also maybe like the Cuban is fighting for the first position at the moment. Still the Cuban in first place, Cordova, lane 4. Daniel Fejes, however, making his way back up in lane 2, with also Connor Fitzpatrick dropping back a little bit. He's maybe going to ease up a little bit now in lane 6. He knows that he has a place in the semi-final once he crosses the finish line, so he doesn't need to expend too much energy as they come through now into the final 200 meters of this 1,000-meter heat. So the Cuban is pulling away a little bit more now. Cordova, lane 4, with Fejes in second from Hungary in lane 2. And we've got lane 5, Poland, with Tauska coming through. He's beginning to pull his way up. He's maybe practicing his second half of the race now for the semi-final, which will be the hardest of probably these stages in terms of trying to get through to the A final. So Cordova looks to be very much in control at the moment as he's in these final 100 meters of the race, with Fejes in second, and with Tauska from Poland looks to be in third. And we've got also Greece finally coming through in fourth place there, with Connor Fitzpatrick easing up before the finish line to take fifth place.
Yeah, I think we definitely saw a spurt there between Fejes and Witkowski, just to make sure that they have bragging rights on that second place. And I think probably just testing what they've got left in the tank in case the semi-final should be even closer than that one. So interesting to see how the field swapped positions during that whole 1,000 meters. And some of that will be dependent on race strategy But a good start from the Canadian, just started to fade just before halfway, but still safely through to the semi-final. But a convincing performance from the Cuban Cordova to take him through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be just waiting on confirmation of the results there. But everyone from that heat, once they've crossed the finish line, will be through to the semi-final. So there's no pressure on any of them. None of them will be eliminated in this round. So it's nice to know that when you line up at the start line. And there you can see Cordova from Cuba out at boat weighing. He looked very comfortable in that heat. He'd be looking to improve on his third place in the B final from last week in Szeged. I'm sure he'd be hoping to make the A final here. And there we have it. First place Cordova from Cuba. Second place Fejes from Hungary. Third place Poland with Tauska. Fourth place Tomopis from Greece. Fifth place Canada Fitzpatrick. Sixth place Surles from USA.